All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Wapiti Live Q&A for December 20th, the last Q&A for 2023. So, I was sitting there thinking about what topic tonight, and I was writing a value video for the new course and all that kind of stuff. And for those of you that have responded to the email I sent the other day, thank you for your votes. So, um,
I didn't see that. I don't see those emails. I get left out of those. Are you picking on me?
Too late and a
no,
dollar short, Larry. Too
I'm
late and a dollar
sending
short.
them to the same group.
Yeah, I got
So
it.
so Larry, what the deal
I have
was
it.
was I'm renaming the course, and brought it down to two names:
Ah,
Elk Calling Mastery Blueprint or Elk Calling Mastery System. And I was asking you guys to vote on which one you preferred, and so far Blueprint is the clear winner. Then I also changed um, because the slogan of Elk Calling Academy, if you remember, it used to be shorten the learning curve so that you find success faster in the elk woods. The only problem is there's another outfit out there now that their slogan is flatten the learning curve for faster success in the elk woods. They're not copying anything I'm doing it. So I changed the slogan to now it says gain a strategic edge with effective elk calling for consistent hunting success.
that's good.
So,
That's very good.
That
so
explains why the change. I couldn't figure out from the email what was prompting all this. Yeah.
I'm working on the new course, and one of the things that they were talking about is that if you're in a competitive market where there's other courses, the one thing that you might do is come up with a naming mechanism that separates your online course from everybody else. And that's how I came up with the elk hunting mastery blueprint. So, um, and then of course, then I was like, I need to change the tagline because the fact that there's so many things that are being copied. And now, mind you, I haven't released much information at all about what I'm doing. I'm waiting until the full on launch and everything. So it to be, hey, surprise, Shorty, here we go. So, because like I said, there's some things that I'm doing that's really going to shake things up because everybody else just has one course, one price, annual membership, recurring. I'm breaking this one into four different mini courses that you can basically, it's just like going down a buffet. You can take a scoop of this, you can take a scoop of that, or you can take a scoop of everything. And then the live Q&As, I'm just going to offer to everybody, but that's going to have a monthly subscription of 19.99. But the mini courses, so I guess there's really three mini courses. There's elk calling mastery with a diaphragm, elk calling mastery on an external, and then there's actually the elk hunting side of it. So you have two different calling. Those are $59 each, one time, or you can link them all together for 150. So lifetime access, one fee. So just some things to separate from the other courses out there. So, but back on track. Don't get me down squirrel holes here. So I was thinking about what to talk about tonight, and I said, you know what? Since this is the last episode for 2023, the new year is just starting. Let's kind of throw a topic out there, or let's talk about something that people will be able to choose their New Year's resolution based on this discussion tonight. So, okay. So we're going to start off with some stats. The average success rate in elk hunting is 15%.
That's rifle, black
That's
top.
that's 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 all elk hunting, 15%. Now, if you take draw hunts out of that and only go over the counter, that success rate drops down to 10%. Now, if you take the people that consistently harvest elk every year and pull them out of the pools, now you're just left with the average elk hunter. Any guess on what that percent goes down to?
One,
I say 2.5 to 5,
3%.
3%.
That means of all the elk hunters out there, Idaho, Montana, Washington, Oregon, I mean any state that has elk, the average elk hunter on a over-the-counter tag is only going to enjoy a 3% success rate.
so they can get three every 100 years.
And you're kind of right because the average, because it's not the same 3% every year. Again, we're looking at that average elk hunter, and the average is one elk every 6 to 7 years.
You know what that tells us about that, don't you? It tells us that that 3% happens to get in the way of an elk.
Pure dumb luck plays a role for a lot of it. So
Sure.
what it tells me too is there's 97% of those people that need to join Elk Calling Academy.
Yeah, that's right.
Absolutely.
So, but yeah, one elk every 6 to 7 years. So you're talking in an 18 to 21 year span. The average person is only going to harvest 3 elk in that time. Now, there are things that can be done. And here's a crazy statistic that I came across a couple of days ago. If you were to commit, and this is not just with elk calling or elk hunting skills, this is just anything in life. If you commit and work on that for 100 hours in a year. Now, 100 hours sounds like a lot, right? But if you break that down, it's only 18 minutes a day. If you committed to 18 minutes a day or 100 hours in a year, you would be better than 95% of the people. So imagine if somebody committed to calling on a diaphragm and learning elk vocalizations for just 18 minutes a day and did that for a year. What do you think would happen with their calling ability, their elk behavior knowledge? I mean, all this stuff. They would be better than 95% of the people out there. So now what happens is that average elk hunter goes from maybe the 3% club to that 10% club, but they're part of that 10% club that is successful consistently every other year, but definitely consistent. So now you take that person that committed to that, now you take that 18 to 21 year span, they went from 3 elk, even if they were every other year, they went from 3 to 10 or 11 just because of 18 minutes a day. God, I almost sound like an ASPCA commercial asking about pets out in the cold, and only 18 cents a day can save the life. So,
You can feed an elk for a year.
only 18 minutes a day, and you can feed your family delicious elk meat for a year.
You can't
One of
spend that way.
one of the things I've been playing with on this value video is trying to figure out how to throw in a little bit of humor, and I think I just did it right there. For
Yeah.
only 18 minutes a day, you can feed your starving family for a year.
You get Sally
Consistently.
Struthers too.
Deadpan, just like that. Deadpan.
So, but no, I was just sitting here thinking about what to talk about tonight, and I know we touched on the 2190 rule. We talked about it briefly, a few weeks back. And when I was researching stuff for, this value video, that's one of the things that I started diving into, success rates and taking a look at, a lot of information. And then for some reason, I was on social media a couple of nights ago, and I found this guy talking about this 100 hours. And he was talking about other aspects in your life, but I mean it applies to so many different things, your job, your family, your health. Just 18 minutes a day commitment on something that you're truly dedicated or focused on can just make all the difference in the world. And especially when I started looking at those success rates, and I was like, holy cow. Um, I mean, I've always, just had the 10%, stuck in my head because, we've always heard that 10% of the hunters kill 90% of the game. And so that 10% has been a common factor thrown out there for years. But man, once I started diving into different sites and really seeing everything broken down, and it's like, man, I didn't think about, pulling out draw hunts, coveted tags. That's, a lot easier. Not, you're not dealing with over the counter general public and the masses and, pressured elk and all these different things that you deal with on over the counter hunts. And man, didn't even think about, taking out those people that have put the time in and that consistently get it done every year. But yeah, I was shocked when I saw, 3%. I mean, yeah, I originally, Jim, I originally jumped right where you did. I was like, oh, 5%. But I was like, holy cow, you take those consistent people, 7% out of that 10%. 7% of those are people that truly, commit to it and really put in the work. And I'm like, oh, okay, I can kind of see that now. So what what are you guys' thoughts on that info?
I think you're right. There was a book called Outlier, and it
Yep.
was about specific people in certain areas, and but they talked about once you accumulated 10,000 hours doing whatever that was,
Right.
you were
A
top of the,
master.
yeah. The
Yeah.
same theory, same theory. You've just broken it down to instead of a lifetime to an annual.
Yeah, now imagine, you take that 100 hours, in a year and you do that for 5 years or whatever. I mean, holy cow. And there's so many different aspects that you can go with this too. Like I said, you can do the calling, you can do your weapon proficiency, you can, you know, spend time learning your area a little bit more. I mean, I know I've talked about that in the past, how, during the wintertime, I love looking at Google Earth and OnX maps of my hunt area just to uncover other little places. I mean, how many times do we drive down a road because we have a specific, destination or spot in mind, and then all of a sudden we're looking at an aerial photo and it's like, huh,
Mm.
I didn't realize that little pull-out spot on the corner went up and accessed that green meadow bench with, that creek running through it with, the timber complete, thick timber completely surrounding it. And I had no idea that that was right above the road. Or, oh man, if I went this, there's a saddle that drops into this little basin. And because we all get into that where, we've got that destination in mind. No, we're going here. Um, I mean, I've been guilty of it when, driving in the morning in the dark somewhere and herd of elk comes from the creek, crosses the road in front of me and up, and I was like, oh, that's cool. Yeah, hey, we saw elk today. Never dawned on me. It's like, ooh, maybe we should stop right here and look at OnX and try to figure out where the heck they're going. What's up there. But no, that's a spot that we've never stopped at. We've never explored it, and so now we've got our favorite little spot that we're heading to, and heck, that right there, that herd could have led us to a mother lode spot that everybody else drives by. doesn't even look at.
All the places that we go to were places that we had never been, that we decided, let's go take a look over here.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, now that's a place we go to.
Well, and that's what Bryce and I did on those, couple of days of muzzleloader hunting that we did up there. We were like, hey, we're just getting out of the house. We're coming up here into this area that we ended the archery season in, that we got into all those elk and stuff, and we're going to explore this upper half a little bit more. We're just informational gathering. If we happen to come across an elk and we get one on the ground, that's just a bonus. And so, of course, Bryce and I were talking about that. We are going to head back there. So, where we ended up and was getting into all those elk, Bryce and I decided we are going to go back there. And of course, we both said that the other guys in the group are probably going to think that we're absolutely insane and off our rocker as soon as we say that that's where we're going. But it's like I told him, none of them have been with us on what we've seen on those last few days. So they have no idea the access points, the terrain. I mean, we're starting to piece a few pieces of the puzzle together for alternate, access routes to get away from people and get in there. And we'll learn more, spring, summertime when we can get back up there. But it's also too, it's just fun to get out and explore new places. And especially if it's an area that you're hunting for the first time, take that time, spend some time in there, hike around. Don't go to the spots that, if it's year 2 during the summertime, don't go to the spots that you already hunted the year before. Go to new spots within that area. Figure out escape routes, where they're going to go when they're pressured, where they're going to go when there's wind and weather. Do that work. And that's just going to help you get out of that 3% club. It's just going to definitely add to your success rate. So, but yeah, even on the fitness aspect, what do you think would happen if you just took a short walk for 18 minutes every day? What would that do for your legs and your lungs and all that kind of stuff?
Quite a
Eight,
bit.
18 minutes is not that long.
Oh, it's not.
No. And I bet what'll happen is, especially if you started going on those walks and it started at 18 minutes, I'll bet you as the year progresses, that 18 turns into 30, turns into an hour.
Or you can do the same distance in less than 18 minutes. So
Yep.
you can go further. Yeah.
That's one of the things Liz and I were talking about when we were leaving the gym tonight, because we were doing a AMRAP tonight, which is as many rounds as possible. And it's a 25-minute period, but you do 30 seconds on a rowing machine as hard as you can go. And then you do jump off the rower, you do 5 kettlebell squats, 5 shoulder presses, and then 5 kettlebell swings, and then back on the rower. And I remember the first time we did this, I think we hit 12 rounds. And I mean, just sweat was pouring. We were spent. And that was 3 weeks ago. This is the third time we've done it, and here tonight we hit 18 rounds.
Ooh, that's a big change.
Well, 18 rounds, and then I mean within a minute and a half, 2 minutes of getting done, our breathing was back to normal. I mean, we just recovered just like that. And it was like, holy cow, that's just insane. So, okay. So Greg, you kind of chimed in. Larry, Jim, what are your thoughts on those stats?
The statistic that impressed me most was that you plan on marketing this for a one-time lifetime subscription.
Uh-huh.
I'm a financial advisor, and as your financial advisor, I don't think that's a great plan.
No?
Renewals are what makes the world go round. Repeat business.
Right. But see, so let's say 2,000 people join, right? And let's say 20% of them decide that they want to add on the live Q&As.
Okay.
So out of 2,000 people, 20%, we've got 400, right?
Mm-hmm.
At $19.99 a month. So now you have 400 people paying $20 a month.
Mm-hmm. That's not bad.
Okay.
The Q&A is the teaser, right?
Well, it's actually the other way around. The actual online course is the teaser, and hopefully they find enough value in that they want to join the live Q&As because, really, I mean, you guys know the live Q&As because every other course out there, and the thing that I'm really focusing on the marketing on is every other course out there, it's basically you buy the course and then you have videos. That's it. There's, yeah, I mean, you can send an email to support and they might get back to you in 5 days with an email, but it's not the same as this face-to-face interaction with the live Q&As. And that's what I told Craig when we did the lesson last week, because he was like, what's the next step? And we were talking about, the live Q&As. I said we even break down some of the sounds even further and do little calling deals, in these live Q&As, and you could get in there and you may have a question. Well, now you're getting live face to face to be able to ask that question and get an answer immediately. And because there could be somebody else in the group that is has that same question or struggled with that same thing. Or one of you guys could go, hey, you know what, Craig? I had that same thing. I struggle with that same thing, and I did this, and it worked perfectly. So it's not just me talking; it's a community, like-minded support, and it makes me think of Proverbs. Iron sharpens iron, just as a man sharpens another. So you surround yourself with like-minded people that share the same passions and are sharing the same information and sharing their journeys and things that they did, and we all collectively as a group come better. So so now my financial advisor is my is my pricing too, because also too, so remember, it's $59 a piece or all three for 150. So let's say the average ticket size is $129 with 2,000 people.
There he goes.
That's nice. Getting the 2,000 people is going to be the key.
Well, now you take that because that's a one time, and then you have those 400 that are paying monthly at $20. Now you tack on that $8,000 monthly to what you just calculated there, and how am I doing there for
About 300,000 startup.
yeah.
Yeah. We just need to get the 2,000 in the house.
And actually with the marketing plan, because I haven't marketed too hard on this, and that's one thing that I've really been diving into is marketing the right way. And what's funny is I've been an affiliate marketer for almost 10 years now for other companies, and I've done okay, but now everything that I've learned specifically on marketing this course has now carried over into all the other aspects of affiliate marketing. And so yeah, I think I'll be okay there. So Larry, I might be reaching up to you and saying, okay, I have this excess cash flow that I need to invest
Find
somewhere.
a home, find a home for, right?
Yeah, yeah, in investments. And so yeah, and so also to Mr. Financial Advisor, I do live by the 20-10 rule. Every paycheck, 10% goes into savings and 20% goes into investments. So
That's good. That's really good. I love that.
yeah,
And I do have clients in Idaho, so you won't be a solo out there.
okay, okay. So see, now you know what's coming next. Now Larry's going to say, as my financial advisor, I feel that I need to come to Idaho and sit in your elk camp and discuss your financial matters.
and
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 oh, by
I
the way, while I'm there, I
Keep
might
my
as well get a
eye on
tag and
you.
come hunt with you.
exactly.
I'm starting to figure out your angle there, Larry. I
There you
like
go.
it.
There you go.
I like it. So,
But I'm
so
excited. I'm excited about what you're putting together there. That's great.
well, and I really, really think that you guys are going to like the layout and the ease of use of finding information and seeing information and know what videos you've watched, and also too notifications of new videos being added. I've been going through a lot of old footage that I have and pulling actual uh, vocalizations. And so that's another ad in the new one. It's not just going to be me talking about it and then the practice session on the individual sounds, but you're actually going to have a looped video of an elk actually making the sounds too. So that way, between the practice video and the actual sounds, you're going to have several things. In fact, I was thinking that what I might do on the looped video, instead of just loop it over and over again, I might have it go, then a pause so you can mimic it, then have it go again, another pause so you can mimic it. So then you're actually training to mimic, the actual. So the progression will be the first video where we're talking about the sound, what it is, how to do it, demonstrate it a few times. Then you go into the practice session where I'm doing it, you're doing it back to me, and then your next video in that sound series is practicing mimicking the actual sound of the elk. So
Good
Cool.
idea.
just a
I
few
like it.
things to pull together. So
Yeah.
well, one of the things that I wanted to finish off with, the end of the year here is just say how much I appreciate each and every one of you and the support that you've given. I know there's some of you that have been here from the very, very get-go, and I'm just so incredibly blessed. Thank you for uh, continuing to support during the rough time. I know Greg and I talked about it in person a couple of weeks back. The before and after. Well, the before, the middle, and the after. How about that? With everything that went through there. So, uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
but definitely appreciate you guys and extremely thankful, and I just really have a high outlook for 2024. We're going to ramp up the value. We're going to ramp up the topics, and just get that 100 hours. So
Well, you have made us better hunters and will be better even yet. 2024 will be a great year.
24 is going to be a great year. I'm really excited for 24 season, because Liz is switching over to archery hunt to
Woohoo!
join us.
Hey,
So
No.
Knox is now old enough to go on his first hunt, so we're going to get him doe tags and cow tags, and so it's going to be a lot of fun in 24. We just got to get through this winter. Although I look at the Boise front and I look at the lack of snow up on the mountains, and yeah, I think
still early. It's still early. Yeah.
yeah, but I mean, it's following the forecast of 40% warmer and less snow, and so definitely a good year for calf survival rate and fawn survival rate. So I think going to see a few more critters out there. The other thing too is, and then we'll touch on this as the season gets closer. But remember too, when you have a milder winter like this, springtime will really tell. If we come out of a mild winter and have a drier spring, then remember food's going to be a lot more concentrated next September, and so it's not going to be like it was this year with elk just spread out everywhere because there was so much feed. It's going to be back into those concentrated areas, which means you're going to have larger groups of elk together, which means you're going to have higher bull to cow ratios, which means you're going to have more bugling and rutting activity. So
More
again,
competition. Yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
so again, that's another thing looking forward to 2024, and I'm like, man, Liz is choosing a good year to switch over to bow hunting. That's for sure. So
That opens up the gift list possibilities for you for her.
Oh, oh, the
yes,
Christmas list is easy.
yeah. So in fact, I I think right after Christmas, right after the first year, we're gonna go shopping for a new bow for her. So in fact, she's been asking me, "Have you announced that raffle yet on my bow? Have you started that raffle? You know, you need to get that sold so that I can buy a new bow and I can get shooting that and be proficient by the time season comes around." And I'm like,
Yeah, yeah.
we're focused on the Christmas and New Year's. Let's get through that a little bit, and then first of the year is a much better time to launch something like that and release it. But so
I thought you were going to go and say, there's where I start my 18-minute walk every day.
yeah. Well, I think with what we're doing at the gym every day with that Mountain Tough program, I think we've got those 18 minutes covered.
I
So
think you
Oh,
do. Yeah.
yeah,
I'm in the gym about, I'd say an hour and a half, 4 days a week.
good.
Actually, think about it, 5 days a week.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's good.
yeah.
I know we've definitely noticed difference. My little muffin top love handles are disappearing, and jeans are fitting a little looser. It's funny, jeans are fitting looser, but shirts are fitting tighter. I'm not sure how exactly
And
that one works.
That's a good thing.
muscle weighs more than fat. That's the deal.
It does. It
It
does.
does.
Yeah, and starting to put back a little bit of the weight that, those 18, 19 pounds that I lost during season. So it's definitely definitely coming. But the one thing I've noticed about all this is I'm hungry all the time.
All the time.
So,
You know what? Someone told me a long time ago, and I do this every day. This is what I've had for lunch for the last 2.5 years: chicken and a green salad
chicken and a green salad.
every day.
Those,
And it's the protein, it's just pure protein. And if I
huh,
don't do that, then I get the big thick pork chops, the big thick ones from Costco,
yeah.
those big thick tenderloin things, and to cook them and eat one of those with a green salad. That's
See,
just
we,
pure. It's just no protein drinks, just that, because protein drinks I found out just make me fat, so I don't touch them.
yeah. Well, it's also too, it's important the first thing that you feed yourself in the morning. You also do need, a period of fasting. And we go in the 24-hour period, we go with the 16-8. So, we have an 8-hour window that we eat, and we only eat within that 8-hour window. But, we'll eat 5 or 6 times during that time. And really dinner's the only big meal that we have. Everything else throughout the day is, quite a bit smaller. But not everybody can do the 18 and 6. It varies, but yeah, doing.
Not everybody can eat chicken and a green salad every day for 2.5 years either.
See, we
No.
we we call that a chicken Caesar salad.
Yeah, I get feathers growing some places. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Jim, what I call that is boring.
Yeah.
That's what everybody says, but this me. That's what I do. Yep.
And there's Larry right there. So,
Yeah.
all right. So to wrap the year up, what questions do you guys have? What would you guys like to see coming in 2024?
Whenever we returned with the kids in the car, we always had three questions for them. One was, what'd you like about whatever we did? What was your favorite thing?
Yep.
Two was, what was your least favorite thing? And three was, what would you change about everything we did? So that's what I
Perfect.
look back on this year, and what was favorite, what was the least favorite, and how can I change that for next year?
Make it better for next year. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
since you brought that up, nice segue into it. Why don't you take those three questions and apply them to Elk Calling Academy? What you liked about this year, what you least liked about this year with ECA, and what would you like to see next year? What would
What
you like
did
to see
I like?
changed?
I like the information about elk behavior this year. That's what I got a lot of
Okay.
this summer leading into the season. Uh, What I didn't like was that I didn't have the ability to log in or attend as many of them as I wanted. Uh, what will I change for next year? Use what I learned this year. Like you had said, the feed's going to be different this year. Then the elk behavior will be different. My behavior needs to be different.
Perfect. Okay, thank you. Mr. Larry?
Well, I don't have the 1, 2, 3, but I have a request that's been outstanding for a long time.
Okay.
And I'll repeat that request. I would like to have um, a video that is however long you need to make it, with each of the calls, going from the basic cow call, going up to the most advanced chuckle, including the roundup call, huff, grunts, whines, in sequence. And you start out by saying basic cow call, do it, and just go through each of those. Now then, we can get there through your academy, but it's not condensed enough. It takes forever to do that. But if we had a video that we could play and mimic that after you do, it would put us on a different level quicker.
So instead of the individual modules with individual sounds within the online course, you're talking one long video that goes through all of them.
Yes, and the reason for that is we are pretty competent with a lot of the calls right now, and to ferret out the ones we're not so competent with, to work through all the lessons, is more time consuming. It's like preparing for the final exam. You have, okay,
Cliff notes.
these are all the calls.
So, okay. So a couple of response, what I'm thinking about, because with the individual sounds, individual modules, and practicing each individually, there's your 18 minutes a day on each of those. But one thing I can add is basically one video at the end of the cow sound module, one video at the end of the bull sound module that recaps all the sounds. So you'll have the individual chapters for each of the sounds, or, you know, Larry, like somebody like you can just go to that last video on that module, and there's your recap rundown of all the sounds, talking about the sound, the brief, this is what the sound is, and then, some demonstrations of it, and then go to the next. So it will be all of those individuals combined in a synopsis recap of the cow sound module, of the bull sound module.
I like it.
So,
Yeah,
yeah.
that would be spot on.
Okay. Okay. Mr. Jim?
After that,
Just say ditto.
You don't,
first I was gonna
you don't,
get a tag. Just saying. Uh, I do have a question, but I'm not going to ask it on this one because we're not really doing question and answer.
no, we are. If you got a question, ask it.
Oh, okay. Well, you know what? All right then. I just ordered a game call,
Uh-huh.
and the reason it's electronic game call, and the reason I did it was because I got a javelina hunt coming up in February,
Okay.
and we used one time to call in a javelina. Used a pig in distress. I mean, they came in right now, and I can program on this game call. And I was thinking about I listened to the elk. I can program on it. They have elk calls, and actually all the bulls are all basically the same call. It's
Right.
located in Google basically, but they have a different cow one. I thought you doing with your son doing
The
tandem
tandem calling? Yeah.
yeah. I wonder how that would work with that. If I was by myself, how that would work with that, because it does sound like a pretty decent cow. They got
Yeah.
different ones on there. How would that work with me doing and that, like, having it ways away, pointing the other way or something? I was wondering how that would work.
It would be the same thing. I mean, if the use of electronic calls during big game hunts is legal in your state, then why
Yeah.
not? I mean, it's another tool that, yeah, basically you're doing the same thing. You're just taking that electronic call to replace a person.
Yeah,
Um, and as long as you've got varying tones, it's not just
the same thing.
one pitch, one tone in that same frequency.
Yeah,
As long as you have those variations, like we talked about. But even if it did, the fact that you're calling with it is going to give enough
yeah.
variance
And you can change
that,
the volume on it, and high, low. Actually, I remember using it. My nephew using it to call in a deer. He had a whitetail in distress.
Mhm.
He said, it doesn't work on the whitetail here, but it works on the mule deer. He said, you better be ready. And I mean, that doe and buck came in. I mean, it couldn't have been 30 seconds. I don't even know where they were. And they
Yeah.
were like, I wouldn't believe it if I hadn't seen it myself.
Huh. Did that I think I've talked about, elk have something similar, that calf in distress, and I think we've talked about that calf in distress call sometime to play on the maternal instincts of the
It might
cow.
work because, man, I mean, I've never seen anything like it. To be honest with you, he said the first time he did it, caught him off guard. And I thought, yeah, right. And he pushed that thing like twice, and that they were, I mean, right there.
Yeah.
I don't know where I
No,
still don't know where they came from.
no, actually, I think you'd be fine with that, Jim. That's just going to add that depth and in that three-dimensional, feel to your calling, especially if you're, a few feet away from it. Um, I mean, it's one of those things too that you could put that thing far enough. Don't put it too far away, but put it far enough away.
I was thinking like 20 feet or something, if that.
Yeah, but it's
10
kind of one of
feet.
the it's kind of one of those things too that if you do see something coming, definitely know that line of sight. If you stick it behind a bush, especially if you've got a bush right here, the elk's that way, and you put it on the backside, so now that sound's
Oh
coming
yeah,
from
I'm
the
not gonna.
backside of
Yeah,
the
I'm gonna
bush.
tuck it in something so you don't see it.
Yep,
Yep.
man, that coupled with like a Montana decoy rump hanging on
Yeah.
that bush.
Well,
So
could be a recipe,
yeah,
so to speak.
there's definitely one way to know for sure.
Give it a whirl.
Give it a whirl. Yep,
Okay, there we go.
absolutely. So,
How about for you?
you know,
Good question, right?
so there's a lot of things looking back on this year that you know, happy with. I mentioned it the other day too that or last time that I'm kind of a tinker, and that's one of the things that I was really looking at Elk Calling Academy, and I was like, okay, how can I provide more? So, um, and biggest thing is the thing I would change is having your guys' input a lot more on the next live Q&A topic. Instead of, me going through trying to figure out, all the time. And of course, as we grow and get more people in and you get a larger group, it has a lot more input and that kind of stuff. But that would definitely be, one thing change is a lot more input from you guys on topic suggestions. I know, I know at the start of this year, I asked you guys, what would you like to see for topics this year? And we went through some of those, but I was just thinking, we can do that a lot more than just at the beginning of the year. So we can do that, throughout the year. There's obviously going to be certain times throughout the year that there's specific topics that I'm going to want to hit to get everybody ready for the season and get their mind right. Um, but there's definitely plenty of opportunities to go viewers' choice on topic. So um,
You're trying to get people to sign up for the course, try to hit your 2,000 or whatever at
and
the
that's just a hypothetical number, but
just a
yeah,
number.
definitely that's the other thing too is advertising a lot more, getting it out there, and that's where one of the things that really sparked this was I'm in a online coaching group that everybody has online courses in coaching programs, and that's one of the things that I read, another statistic, version 1 of an online course versus version 2, and it's shown that version 2 has a 286% more success rate than version 1. So I'm like, all right, I'm a tinker. Let's tinker on this course and get that 286%. So
End of the elk seasons, uh, and people that didn't get their elk, they show you their unfilled tag, gives them a 10% discount to sign up for your course to be better.
yeah, no, and there's all kinds of different things like that that looking into, and that's a great idea. Yeah, turn tag soup, into
Hey, yeah, tag sandwich, tag soup.
yeah, tag sandwich, tag soup, turn it into a successful recipe. So, for something that eats a little bit better than that piece of paper. So, but um no, I'm just, so blessed with, all of you guys that are here. And I know there's several guys that I don't know why they don't like to attend the lives, but man, they sure hit the replays, um, you know, quite often, and so they're still
Oh,
getting.
so you can see when people hit the replays.
Yes, because actually, so when I upload the recorded to YouTube, and then when I send the emails out, I get a report of, this number of emails were sent, this number of people opened it, this number of people clicked on links, and so then I can go over to YouTube and see, it gives me a watch count on the
Mhm.
videos, and so, I see. The other thing that gonna do in 2024 is once a month I am gonna do the public live Q&A where I broadcast to Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Get back to doing that again. What's kind of cool is I have a new broadcasting software that will actually broadcast to all three. So there's no more of the old software that I had would only go to Facebook and YouTube, and then I had to have the phone for Instagram. So this new one broadcasts to all three and captures all comments all right in there. So it's all
Cool.
done with the camera and the microphone, and so yeah, uncovering some new things. I actually am right now looking at upgrading the camera for, filming, getting a little better audio and visual. So I probably will be going back and reshooting a lot of the videos too. But also too, what's kind of cool is because when I record these videos, I've always done it non-scripted. I've always just gone off the cuff. And then I'll sit down and I'll start editing that video and I'm like, dang it, I forgot to talk about this and I forgot to talk about that. Well, now what's kind of cool is now that I'm getting more into this script writing for these, there's actually a teleprompter that goes right on the front of the camera. So the camera lens comes through, but I can put my phone down so I can have the script on the phone. I can put it on this teleprompter, and then the teleprompter actually goes based on how fast I'm talking. So then I can actually write everything out and make sure every video has all the points that I want to hit in them, and I won't have to do 6 or 7 iterations of that video to make sure that I got all the pieces in there. So,
How
but
much
that's
you've grown over the years. Yeah.
learning, and but that's one thing that I love about the live Q&As too, because it gets the open discussion and gives the ability to hit those points that maybe I forgot, in the training video. So yes, tweaking and trying to make better. So
Michael, you're really upping your game. You have a good game already. You're going to a whole other level now.
I'm trying. I'm definitely trying. So
Good job.
Did you
but
get the emailed numbers that I sent you?
I did, yes, thank you. And I got those plugged into the spreadsheet, and that's kind of that information that again is going to go into the value video, and also that's kind of going to be the first live Q&A for the general public in January, is diving into these numbers, diving into that a little bit, and just kind of talking about those things. Now obviously on those live public Q&As, there's going to be taboo products or taboo subjects that I'm not going to dive into that can be found within the course. But that's just going to be more kind of open it up for general elk discussion and answer some general questions, and just kind of like what used to do, which used to be a lot of fun. That man, I remember how many people used to tune in on those Wapiti Wednesday live Q&As.
Back on Facebook. Yep, I remember
Yeah.
that. Oh yeah.
Yeah, get back to it. So, but yeah, so I want to wish each and every one of you a very Merry Christmas and a safe and happy New Year. I hope you and your family are all blessed and be safe and enjoy.
Yeah, you too.
You-
Merry Christmas
And the
to
same to you, friend.
Appreciate it. So, all right, guys, thanks for tuning in. As always, keep calling, keep practicing. And more importantly, though, have fun. We're not going to change that tagline or closing. We're leaving it on. We have to.
can't change that.
No, gotta keep that one. So,
Merry Christmas.
all right,
Merry
guys,
Christmas, everybody.
enjoy.
Happy New Year.
We'll see you
Merry
guys.
Christmas, everybody.
In a couple
Bye-bye.
weeks.
We'll see you guys
Yeah.
next year.
Yeah, next
Yeah,
year.
next year.
Woohoo.
That's right.
Good night, everybody.